Hi guys, this is Wave 618. It's the 31st of March 2018. It's currently 6 p.m. GMT. Alright, so this is Bitcoin. We're looking at the 4-hourly chart here. Alright, so as we discussed, we expect Bitcoin to come down a lot further. Over the past few days, we can see that it has been doing so. So it's always good to see. And alright, so let's predict where it's going to come down to and in what fashion it's going to come down. Yeah, that's what we're going to discuss in this video. Alright, so as you can see my demarcation here, we had 5 waves up to $20,000. Now we're seeing a sharp correction pattern, as Bitcoin has always shown sharp correction patterns whenever it forms 5 major waves up. In my last video I broke that down quite clearly. Throughout the history of Bitcoin since 2010, every time it makes 5 sharp waves up, you can expect a large retracement down to at least the 78.6% fib level. So that's certainly something we can look out for with this retracement here. Alright, so very typically Bitcoin comes down in a WXY fashion. So this is W here, this was an ABC. Basically a WXY pattern means it's 2 corrective patterns joined by an X wave. So our first corrective pattern was an ABC. X wave in itself was a WXY, and it was a failed wave here. As you can see, if you break it down, if you look really closely, this wave here did not finish higher than this wave, which means it was a failure wave. Very typically that causes a double top, which we call a truncated pattern here. Yeah, it's where the market fails to have the strength to break the previous high, and instead it collapses quite rapidly from that point. So that was our X wave, which in this case was a failure wave. And now we're in Y, yeah? And what I expect from Y is a smaller WXY. So I believe that we've finished wave W, which came to around here. And then we've had X, which again is a failure wave in itself. I will be zooming in on this to look at it more closely. I was looking at it retesting this line, but instead, due to weakness in the market, this X wave in itself failed, and now following that failure we've seen rapid decline in price once again. Okay, so we're in the final leg now, which is this smaller Y, and in itself I believe that smaller Y can be broken down into a WXY. So I'll be showing you on a shorter time frame. Let's zoom in on the hourly chart here. First of all, okay, let's expand this. Alright, so our major Y, this is our major Y, it started here and we've seen a W finish here. Now the X wave, I believe, rather than putting it there, it finished here. Yeah, I believe this was a WXY, and this Y was a failure. Yeah, instead of coming up to here, which is what I was looking at to retest this downward trend line, it collapsed earlier than expected due to weakness in the market. Now, why do I think this is still part of the X wave? Reason being is this looks corrective to me. Not sure if we can see it on the hourly time frame. Let's try and have a look if we expand it quite a lot. Basically I see 7 small waves down in this pattern. So look, if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. When you see 7 waves down, think double zigzag. It's a corrective pattern, which means the next leg is impulsive, but because it didn't finish higher than the previous high, it's a failure wave. Yeah, so I'm labeling the end of X here. This is significant because we need to know where we start our new wave count from, whether it's here or here. Yeah, so I'm actually starting it from here, and from here I can see 5 legs down. I can see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, now I'm going to zoom back out. Let's go on the 4 hourly. Okay, so if if this is our Y wave, we're going to see a W, X finished here, and Y is going to come down to here. Of this Y wave, I'm expecting a double zigzag down, which is a WXY pattern. So let's draw this double zigzag. As I say, I can see 5 waves down here. So just starting it here, that's going to be the end of A. Yeah, because A is made of 5 legs. Then we're going to see 3 legs up. I expect this to retrace. It could retrace maybe to at minimum the 38.2 retracement, which is probably around this level. I think it's around 7,500. That's the minimum it's going to retrace. It could come higher. Then I expect another C leg to come down. Maybe looking at around this 5,000 level, because there's good horizontal support at 5,000 here. And then I expect a smaller ABC to come up. A, B, C. Before our final ABC down. A, B, C. So I think it could play out something like this. Yeah. So our Y wave is in itself is a WXY pattern, in the sense that it's a double zigzag. Alright, that's one way it can play out. To be honest, I'm not going to be looking at any long positions during this. I'm only going to be shorting, and I'm probably not going to trade at these levels on the way down. I'll probably be looking to develop a short around the 7,500 level. Yeah, I'll load up on my shorts at that 7,500 level. As I say, it may go a bit higher, could retest 8,000. But from there, I don't see prices coming any higher than that level for a long time. When I say a long time, I'm talking several months. Yeah, because obviously we're anticipating a bottom, a curved out bottom, before prices are marked up drastically. Alright, so let's just take these patterns off here. Now, in terms of where we can expect Y to finish, alright, if you watched my last video, I clearly demonstrated that Bitcoin always retraces to at least the 78.6 fib. So let's just let's look at the daily so we can plot this fib level nicely. So this is our Mt. Gox high here in 2014, crashed, formed a bottom here. So and this is where our 5 waves up begins. So that's the beginning of the move. Here's our high, almost at 20,000. We've only really broken the 61.8% fib. I'm expecting a bare minimum of price to reach this 0.786 fib, which is around the $4,346 level. So that's a primary target, which I expect to get broken, but that's our initial target. So let's just put a little price label there, just so we know where that level is. Alright, so that's our initial target. As I say, Bitcoin is always, after 5 major waves up, it's always crashed, and it's always come to at least this level. Yeah, so this is a bare minimum target. However, I expect that it could come down lower. I'm expecting here we've got very good horizontal support. If I plot a horizontal line here, these were significant highs, and a significant high here and a significant low here. Yeah, it really respected this level. Not only that, it's a round number, 3,000. Yeah, charts love round numbers. They often act as support and resistance. So that is going to be a huge resistance for Bitcoin. Yeah, this is my primary target here, 3,000. And let's not forget that the cost to mine a Bitcoin is, something around that 3,000 mark. So that's again another bit of support for Bitcoin. Of course, as Bitcoin comes down in value, the competition for mining will reduce, which will mean that the cost of mining will in turn reduce as well. So price can certainly come down further than the current cost to mine Bitcoin. But anyway, I won't go into that in this video. Certainly this 3,000 level looks like a reasonable target. Another way of forecasting where it can come down to, if we say this is W, you can often see, let's just get rid of this fib retracement now. So you can often see Y wave being a 0.618 extension of wave W. So if this is our W and our Y started at this level, our 0.618, that's around the 3408 level. So again, I'm looking between this bracket of 3000 and 3500. Yeah, and that's where I'm looking for Bitcoin to settle. Of course, we're going to be looking at sentiment. There's going to be a lot of things we'll be looking at. Sentiment, volume. Volume is one thing I want to touch on in this. In this video. So I've got the OBV here, and it's very important to look at the OBV on the daily chart. Now, where there's a very significant horizontal support for the OBV, and that's at this level here. To be honest, you could use this OBV chart to actually time your long positions. I'm waiting for this line to get hit. That's what I'm looking for. If you look at where Mt. Gox, this is the 2014 crash where Mt. Gox exchange crashed and went bankrupt, and this volume here, on-balance volume, is basically the net volume of a between bullish and bearish volume as time goes on. So the more bullish volume there is, the OBV will go up, whilst the more bearish volume that comes in, the OBV will come down. And it's the net difference between bullish and bearish transactions as time goes on. So as you can see here, this is the volume that represents the smart money, essentially, because these are the ones who would have capitalized on this big high at the time where Bitcoin went to $1,200. This is the smart money, yeah? So this volume here represents the smart money. So it's going to be very hard to see the OBV come down lower than that, because the people who got in here, the people who profited here, are not going to be shaken out of this market. They're going to hold for the next 10 years, no doubt. Yeah, even if price came down to $600, which I'm of course not predicting it will, but they would probably still hold in the anticipation that it would go up. So this bullish volume that is represented by the people who profited here, that volume's there to stay. Yeah, and this is marked by the OBV at this level. Yeah, so we're not going to see the OBV come down lower than this. It's a very good indicator for the banks or funds, the smart money, to know when the weak hands are flushed out. So far, all this is volume here is represented by weak hands. Yeah. So we can expect this all to be flushed out, all these weak hands to be flushed out. As long as there's weak hands in the market, price is going to be marked down further. Yeah. Once all the weak hands are flushed out, then we're going to see a slow accumulation phase where the banks, smart money, etc., are buying Bitcoin at a very cheap and fair price, a price that they consider to be excellent value. And then you can expect towards the end of this accumulation phase, so it's going to come down, curve out here, big accumulation phase, lots of positive media will eventually come out, marking the price sky high. Yeah, you can expect to see Bitcoin being incorporated within society a lot more towards the end of this accumulation phase. A lot of people will start to then think Bitcoin has intrinsic value, which hasn't yet established yet, hence it's coming down sharply. Yeah. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at Bitcoin I'm not looking at it in terms of price, but I'm looking at the on-balance volume also. Yeah, so I'm waiting for on-balance volume. This is going to be very important. I'll be closely monitoring the OBV, looking for it to hit this level here. Likewise, on the price chart, I'm looking for a price between 3,450 and 3,000. Certainly when it reaches 3,450, I'll be looking to place some initial small long positions, but I will be looking for it to come down lower, and certainly it's going to be a curved out bottom, so I'm not going to have any fear of missing out. Yeah, It's important you're patient as a trader. Don't worry about price having a V bottom or spiking up suddenly. It's not going to happen. Yeah, there'll be plenty of time to get in. So yeah, don't worry about that. So this, when it reaches these price levels, this is an investment level. Yeah, I wouldn't trade it as much, to be honest. I'll be putting a position and looking to hold it, you know, for between a minimum of 6 months. So yeah, that's what I'd be looking out for. So let's just clean this up a little bit. Just want to show you why else it found a little bit, price found a little bit of support at this level that it's at currently. So there is another line that's keeping it up at the moment. Let's get rid of the OBV. Okay, let's just plot a trend line. So if we plot a trend line following this wick low here, connecting that wick low, and we can see there's that line there connecting the high, and now it's hitting these lows. And if we draw a parallel line, yeah, we can see a kind of a channel here. As I say, this was my wave 1, 2, 3 that broke out of the channel, which wave 3s often do break out of the channels. Wave 4 formed the bottom of the channel. Wave 5 massively overextended, hence broke out the channel. Now it's come down, retesting the channel, but this is a weak support here. Yeah, I'm expecting it to come down much lower. Yeah, but that's just one illustration I wanted to make, just why it found a bit of support here. Also, another reason for a bit of support, if we do a fib extension from the top of this wave, extend it from the top of the next wave. Okay, so not like that. It was actually this level. So we actually need to zoom in. If we go on the hourly chart, so if we do a fib extension from here to here, yeah, it hits the 2.618, hence, so well recognized fib level. So the algorithms have certainly got triggered here. And there was also a bit of volume that came in at this level. So you can see a bit of volume here, which will allow price to come up. As I say, I'm making this to be an ABC pattern, with this being wave A. B will come up to a minimum of the 38.2 retracement, which I said is around the 7,500 level. So around here, 7,486 is where the 38.2 retracement is, but could come up to the 50, the 61.8, certainly can be tested. With it being a weak market, I wouldn't bank on it hitting these levels. As I say, 7,500 would be a reasonable place to start building a short, but keep in mind that I wouldn't have a tight stop. It could, with it being a B wave, it could come up higher to potentially around the 8,000 level. Yeah, so we've looked at volume, we've looked at price, looked at trend lines. The only other thing, one other indicator, is the fact that the dollar, as I mentioned in a video, I think either a week or two ago, I've said that the dollar is going to fly. Yeah, so I've not changed my analysis on that. If you check out my videos, you'll see one labeled dollar. It's quite easy to find because most of my videos are on Bitcoin. So you'll see one chart, one video about the dollar, and that will explain how I see the dollar actually starting a trend from now, that it's going to continue for a minimum of 6 months, very likely to be a bit longer than 6 months, to be honest. And yeah, that's the dollar that's going to be uptrending for a good amount of time. Check out the video. I've given my Elliott wave analysis of that. So far we saw the interest rates being hiked, and that's in turn shown the dollar going up. And don't forget, this chart is essentially a forex pair, because Bitcoin and dollar are paired, and as dollar goes up, that's another. It certainly doesn't work in Bitcoin's favor at all. Yeah, yes, you can see Bitcoin and dollar both going up together. However, it's if Bitcoin is already looking like it's going down, then the fact that the dollar looks like it's about to fly certainly pushes the Bitcoin down further. So another reason why Bitcoin looks to be going down even more. So yeah, I'll leave it at that in this video, guys. So plenty of indicators discussed there. Yeah, let's see what happens. As I say, looking for that around 7,500 level. With it being a weak market, it might not even reach that level. As you can see here, so far it's already reached this 23.6 fib retracement level. So if it's really weak, this market, it could start turning here. However, I expect a correction pattern to complete, with this maybe being an A, B, C, could come up to here. I've not broken down this on shorter time frame, so very difficult to say. Yeah, but let's see how it plays out, guys. Exciting times to come, and as always, if you've liked the content, please like, subscribe and share. Alright, take care, guys.